Hey, good morning. Okay, so I put in the description. I tried to get there ahead of time and put in what I'm going to do today. I didn't finish the sled, but I got some things done. So I'll be talking about this a little bit later. And I've got some parts all ready to go. I'm making sure that when I create the sled, it's not really a sleigh, it's a sled, that I'll be able to make a mold on that. So that's my concern and my focus. Sorry, it looks like this paper, this aluminum is a little shiny for this presentation, so I hope it won't be. I just wanted to make sure this didn't stick to this clay is very hot right now. That's why it's going like that. But I want to make sure it doesn't stick to my wood before I get it started, and then I can take this away. So what I'm going to do today, and I want to talk about the antlers too, because I was working on that the last time and I didn't have the right materials. Um, Good morning, Mark. So I ordered some more of the armature wire, and I got another gauge of the Richardson armature wire, and this is a perfect gauge. So I had to save this for another day because I had to wait for it to come. But now I can wrap the armature wire. I wanted to do this before I put Sculpey on it so I could show you. Good morning, Cindy. And so I could wrap this, it's thin enough that I can create the tributaries in Sculpey using this smaller gauge. The gauge I had before was that big, and the gauge I have now is this big. And they are so much nicer, the Richardson armature wire, than the um, just the plain vanilla stuff you can get on Amazon. It's cheaper, but it's just hard to work with. So, ouch, this is still pretty hot. But what I'm going to do is this rider. So I have our two reindeer. I've got, Cindy, you probably didn't see it yet. I've got some of our sled started. I didn't sand it yet, so that's coming. And it has to have a certain pitch. It can't be straight like this. It has to be a little bit like that. So there's a little bit of a engineering here. It's getting easier to handle now because what I want to do is quickly create our um, Komi Reindeer herder rider that we have pictured here that you can kind of see. I also have a document I uploaded and I updated that document. So in the, I'm going to switch out of this now. Um, in the community section, you can download my updated document, and I have some more links to these really cool reindeer herders. I'm going to quickly see if I can show you some. Let's see if I can get right to a picture. Well, let's see. I wanted to show you a picture of the scene. That's a kind of a cool Arctic scene right there with the tents are made of deer skins and they move from place to place to take the reindeer where they need to go. Um, but I had a special picture I wanted to show you, and I thought I had them all up here, but oh, I know, maybe it's over here. No, it's not. Um, well, I'll just get on with this project because this clay is getting almost perfect now. And there's so many great pictures once you get into it. And the links on the in the document that I've got right there for you to download. We'll have a whole film on the Komi reindeer herders. And it's not that long. It's pretty amazing to see how they live and see what they do and what it all looks like. It's a great, I've never seen a sculpture project surrounding this, and it's so picturesque. And, I don't know why, but we're doing it now. So I'm going to just pick up one of our unfinished reindeer to kind of get us a head comparison. And let's see if I've got the best. Um, the person's head should be about half the size of the reindeer. Now we're not measuring for these projects. We're just winging it. And that's fine. Let me go back to the picture. So I'm going to make one of the big mistakes that could go on here is to make the head of the person too big. So what I'm going to do, and this is an interesting way to start. I'm just going to kind of, the person themselves, I think that's a woman. Yes, it is just in this small area. And all this that you see, the red is some kind of pack that's in the back. And I did get some pictures of what that might look like too. Other screenshots I took. It's just this kind of big, they put a big pack and they rope it down on the backs of these sleds with all their belongings. So anyway, all right, so I'm going to kind of gauge that head size, and then we're going to pinch out. I don't know if you saw the Starman video that Chuck did many years ago. And instead of doing separate forms from the beginning, he pinches out the different appendages. And so we're going to just kind of guess. I'm going to kind of guess. I mean, that looks really silly right now, but kind of guess what this person might be like in terms of relationships to size to the reindeer. And get that shoulder area done. And then maybe it won't look like a person by the end of today, but I'll work on it until it does, so I won't scare y'all with whatever I do. And, this kind of person would be easier to do. You don't have to do a real detailed kind of face. You can just do the clothing around the person and imagine how colorful it's going to be when this person would be having their arms in like this and leaning back, leaning forward here. It's hard for you to see. Let me bring this way up. Oops, sorry for that wobble. So you can really see what I'm working on here. All right. So I'm just this clay is so nice and workable at this stage. Don't forget the person needs to have shoulders. And don't worry about details of the face at this point either. Just start to work it in your hands. And it looks terrible when you start. Don't worry about that. You're just going to pinch your warm clay. If your clay gets too cool, you can always just put it back, like layer it better and just make it like under a towel on your hot plate. And it will quickly come back to life and you can work it. It's so funny because it's the opposite of what you would do with Sculpey, where you bake it or heat it to harden it. And this is the opposite. You're going to heat it to soften it so you can work it. So we've got that arm coming over that way and this elbow there. And you want to try to have the movement, a little bit of the movement captured. I mean, this is the easiest type of figure to do because there's very little anatomy you have to worry about. And, there's a lot of headpiece there. It's mostly just decoration. So they have very colorful outfits and headpieces. And you notice at this stage, you don't want to use any tools. You just want to use your hands to start to detail this figure. Put a little bit more in the front there. And of course, this will go on when I've got the topping for the sled. Oops, it's so hard for me to show you. This is so crude right now, but picture that sled and pick the size, picture it on the top and, the reindeer in front. So you've got all the elements you're working on. Oops. At one time. Let me see if there's some questions. Oh, good. Yeah, the Starman video Mark saw. And that's true. You just have a big kind of lump and then you just sort of pull out from there. Now, that kind of violates all the stuff I talk about with proportions, but what the great thing about this clay is you get things started doing it that way. You get things started, and then you can go and measure and make your adjustments. Because if you're really doing sculpture and not just models, you're you're going to change it. That's what's so great about this kind of clay. You don't want to be locked into an armature and go, oh gosh, I need an armature for everything I do. that's a really restrictive way of conceiving of sculpture. But oops, just work it with your hands. And it's just so much better that way because you can kind of say, okay, what do I want to do now? Do I like where this is going? Um, there's a lot of ideas you might want to get as you're working. And then you go, oh, I can change it. I don't have a heavy armature in there. That's one of the problems with Sculpey too, is you're pretty much set to creating something that your armature is inside of. It's anything of significance, if it's large at all. You're very restricted to whatever that uh, armature inside is telling you to do. I'm just going to push this back and over. I am using a tool. Uh-oh. I love this big pad tool. This is a great tool. So here's my colorfully dressed Komi Reindeer herder. And the women do a ton of this heavy work. It's just incredible. They have these tents that are covered in deerskin, and they pull up their tents sometimes nightly when they're really on the move. And the poles are heavy, and then the deerskin covers the whole thing. And then they have a stove in the middle. And I mean, the hard work that these people do in their lifestyle, and it's all very spiritually based. It's not, oh, let's just do this for fun. It's all based on what their beliefs are. So it's pretty cool to learn about them. So I have one shoulder back and one forward, and I'm going to want to work that. Can you see where I'm headed? I mean, this is very crude, but this is how you get started. Don't get worried that, oh, I'll never be able to do it, because you have to just get started. That one shoulder is forward and one is back. Let me try to portray that a little better. And then get my one tool I will use. Can you all see what I'm doing here? I need to be more cognizant of my camera and where my hands are. I have committed to getting another setup with another camera that zooms right in on that so you can all see what I'm doing. And the lighting is really hard to get for the video, because the lighting I normally use is too bright for the video. So if I'm going to do live streams, I need to really figure that part out. So, okay, so this arm is forward. This arm was back and in. And as you can see, sort of starting to, I know, it looks funny now. That's okay. I would have been so intimidated years ago, because I would have thought, oh, I can't do this because look how bad this looks. And my hand looks like a club. I don't want to be hit with that. I really don't. But anyway, so this will go up on, let me get some of the sense of clothing here. Get some more hot clay. Ouch. And it is hot. It is hot. You can see it smushes when it's hot. But what I want to do is bring this clothing down a little and start to, just because it's so hot, I'm not using my hands right now. Bring that up. So I kind of create that twist and get that on there. What I'll do is I'll work on this a little bit, and then I'll post a little picture today of where I ended up on it, and maybe put a little temporary seat so you can see how, oh, that's too hard, how the figure will be sitting. Let's see. I promise you it will look like a real figure when it's done. I know this looks kind of silly right now. Let me bring that down. Whoop. See, my hand gets in the way of you being able to see just what I'm doing here. Ouch. My clay is so hot. Okay. I hear my alarm going off. Well, I'll work on this a few minutes more, and then, probably another 30 minutes. And then I'm going to post this lady, and she'll be driving the sled. She'll be sitting up on it. That's only half of her dress. So let me cut my alarm off. And I will say goodbye for today. But again, thank you everybody for coming on. And I'm asking Santa to bring me another web camera so I can have one close. But anyway, you got to see a little bit. I will see you on Friday morning. I hope. I have Thanksgiving issues going on. So if I'm not here on Friday morning, I'll post that I can't be on the community tab. Otherwise, I'll be here. So anyway, thank you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Mark. Bye, Cindy.